Greetings and welcome to this week's true sidereal astrological weather forecast for the week of June 10th to 15th. And yes, I know that is only 5 days. It's already Tuesday, folks. I'm coming off of a 3-day women's festival. And as an autistic being, the capacity for output was 0 yesterday. It's like maybe 50% right now. But I'm really feeling this little conjunction right here, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. You know, the devotion, the structures, the commitment to your spiritual practice. And this is my spiritual art. So here we are. This one's going to be a quickie because of my current capacity, also because it's already Tuesday. And most of the action that has gone down this week, like yesterday, leading up to the full moon that is going to be apex at 3:44 a.m. tomorrow. So technically tonight, because that's like, who considers 3 a.m. tomorrow, right? That's this evening. The details of what is going on in the sky and the interactions between the planetary beings are all detailed in the full video that I did on the full moon. So if you're curious about what's going on today, leading up to that full moon event, check out that video. I'm not going to repeat myself as far as that goes. So let's have a little look-see at where everything is. If you are confused as to what you're seeing on the screen here, this is true sidereal astrology, otherwise known as alchemical astronomy. Okay, so the mainstream astrology that most people are familiar with has nothing to do with the stars. It is a symbolic social construct that was based on a calendar and a clock introduced in 200 AD. Okay, it's a bit out of date. It does not account for the precession of the equinox, which is this yellow dotted line you're seeing on the screen. It also does not account for the fact that the constellations are different sizes and that there is a 13th sign. Okay, so this is the specific lens that I am practicing, have been practicing. And in my opinion, it is the only lens of astrology that is suitable for the true adept here to evolve as a celestial being, as it captures both the lower cycles of the earth, but also the celestial cycles. I have an ebook that I've curated on this topic, and I'm actually going to be teaching a live course starting next Monday, June 16th, 1 lesson a week plus integration, because we don't need more information, folks. We need to embody this. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to read charts intuitively by archetypes and pattern recognition so that you can read your own chart. This is especially useful for those of you in the healing professions or working with clients, because you can look at charts, look at the sky, and remove the middleman from astrology. Okay, so looking at the visible sky right now, this is an app called Night Sky. Any star charting app will do. In Pisces here, we can see, as I said, Saturn and Neptune getting real close to each other. Okay, this is, we're feeling the 1 degree difference now. Now, this is going to be going on until next year, they'll be exact, because both of these are very slow movers. So like a very long period of time with Saturn on top of Neptune in Pisces. Saturn, the dad of the zodiac. Neptune is Pisces energy. Okay, so this is expansion and contraction, the masculine and the feminine coming together to bring a seriousness, a devotion to your spiritual practice. The idea that you can build structures to live a more magical life, and like also the idea of like pragmatic spirituality, or, you know, the magic in the mundane. Like you can be a human and still do human things, but also have a magical twist to basically everything. This is what being a human is meant to be. Okay, so we have a prolonged period of time with these energies in Pisces. We also have Venus just at the tail end. So I would consider Venus to be cuspy still, okay? Because it's in Aries here using the midpoint system, but you can see in the visible sky, it's really kind of in between both of them, right? So we've got it still a little bit of this energy of valuing the receptivity of Pisces, the deep water, that flexible water, the depth of our felt experience here in these human bodies, spirituality, what's hidden underneath, things like that. And then Venus in Aries is putting yourself first, valuing yourself, self-care, one-on-one type of relationships, really taking initiative when it comes to things that will serve you, your physical surroundings, your finances, things like that when it comes to Venus in Aries. And then we have Uranus here, still in Taurus, and will be for some time, the planet of freedom and innovation in Taurus, the earthy physical realm, where the sun is just finishing up. So the sun will be technically in Taurus using this system until June 20th, as it will move into Gemini. So you can see there's a bit of a gap here. So the midpoint would be about here. Okay. Now we have Jupiter and Mercury both freshly in this energy of Gemini, expansion, abundance, and then how we communicate and how we transmit. Okay. Both in Gemini, which is curiosity. It's that mutable air. It is expanding your perspectives. It is thinking differently. It's having the ability to entertain different perspectives, to sit in neutrality and really play devil's advocate. This is a gift that I have that really pisses people off because I can really see both sides of really anything, right? And I mean, it does. I mean, I am a Gemini rising, so probably has something to do with it, right? And a side note, if you're new here to tuning into this sort of forecast, your birth chart changes with this this system as well. So check out masteringthezodiac.com. It's the only free birth chart generator that I'm aware of. Currently working on it though. Any software engineers that want to link up, I am open to collaborations at this point. So we have this new energy of curiosity. This will be the case with Jupiter for about a year. Mercury is a faster mover, so it'll be through there faster than that. But as Jupiter expands through Gemini, I really see paradigm shifts coming through the collective, okay? Then moving down here, we have Mars in Leo. So this is giving like it's fire and fire, right? Like self-expression, creativity, playfulness, pleasure. Definitely felt this at the festival that I was at this weekend, the Sacred Village Women's Festival. Oh, so liberating. Such a beautiful experience to be surrounded by women and like just seeing how free and confident women can be when surrounded by empowering sisters. So this kind of energy, I really felt this idea of like putting yourself out there, being playful, having fun, living in your pleasure. And then just moving down the line of the ecliptic here, we can see the moon quite full. We are within that orb of the apex, okay? And it is heading right into Ophiuchus where it will be. So we see here Scorpio. It's hard to see the constellations. There we go. So we can see Scorpio and Ophiuchus creating the death and rebirth portal, be the moon in its fullness. This is a potent full moon, but like I said, I'm not going to repeat myself. I did a whole video on it, but it is really death and rebirth. The full moon is usually a period of purging and release because the moon acts as a magnet to pull things to the surface for us. But this one is particularly catalytic, so I would recommend moving your body, dance rituals, somatic grounding with the sun in Taurus, having that kind of energy of grounding yourself while you are reaching into the ethers, releasing anything that's holding you back and being reborn through the portal that is Ophiuchus. Then just finishing up our tour of the line of the ecliptic, still got Pluto in Capricorn where it will be for 18 years. So let's have a look at the transits for this week, the remainder of them anyways, because like I said, most of them are in the full moon video. All right, so starting off with the moon transits, as you saw on our little preview, the moon is currently approaching the galactic center, right in that death and rebirth portal between Scorpio and Ophiuchus. So today, Tuesday, it's mostly in Scorpio and then moving into Ophiuchus near the tail end of the day, where it will be while the full moon is apex at 3:44 a.m. tomorrow for the lunar event. It will remain in Ophiuchus for Wednesday, but then as of Thursday, it will be in Sagittarius for pretty much the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, before moving into Capricorn on Sunday. So this is what I really love about the hero's journey, or the patterns that are present within the zodiac, because they all work together. And again, this is included in the ebook that I curated, as well as a primary theme in the course that I'm going to be teaching, is how to read these energies as personified, as different aspects of ourselves that come together to help us evolve. Okay, so we get to the death and rebirth portal that is Scorpio into Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus being the anomaly of the zodiac, ruled by the ether, the fifth element, the everything and the nothing. Chiron as the planetary ruler, right? So it doesn't have a modality like the other zodiacal elements. It is an anomaly. It is the pattern interrupt. It is a black freaking hole. Okay. So when the moon is full over a black hole, that is a lot of vacuum energy. The moon acts as a vacuum to pull things to the surface for us. So this is exactly why during full moons, there's like statistics about how many accidents and shit like that happen. It is increased. Okay. So being aware of this is helpful, because it helps you to remember that nothing is actually happening to you. It's all happening for you. And I know that is cliche, but it is how it works. Okay. So anything that is coming to the surface right now is happening intentionally for you to recognize it, look at it, and send it to the freaking moon. Okay. So that's where we're at right now as I'm recording this, moving through the activations that come up with the lunar cycle and surrendering to them, allowing them to be reborn through Ophiuchus. And then Sagittarius follows this up with that fresh creation energy, that mutable fire. Sagittarius is the philosopher, the lone wolf, right? Like that spontaneous creativity. So having that energy with the moon post lunar event, well, it's still full. Like we feel the full moon effects about 3 days on either side, right? So we still have this energy of empowerment that comes with the lunar cycle being at this point, but also the flexibility and the fun that comes with that Sagittarian kind of energy. So it gives you like a fresh start in order to create something new after dying and being reborn through Scorpio and Ophiuchus. Other energies that we're seeing playing out in the aspects this week include a square between Jupiter and Saturn. So we're seeing this really all week, but it will be exact on Sunday. And this is the contraction and expansion coming together. Jupiter being that expansive force, just freshly in Gemini. And as I said in the run through, really expanding our horizons, opening ourselves up to a new paradigm, being able to entertain different perspectives at once. This is how you change your reality. When you are thinking and doing the same thing, you will see the same thing outside of you, right? In order to have something different to experience, you have to feel different internally first. And that involves your paradigm and the perspective through which you're seeing things. Okay. So Jupiter in Gemini over the next year is going to bring this openness and new paradigm to the collective. Squares are always like a little bit of tension, with like tension that is motivating. Okay. So it can create like an action or like an urge to act. So Jupiter squaring Saturn, which is conjunct Neptune in Pisces, is really giving, again, this idea of curating a more magical reality by taking your time, putting some structures into place, developing a plan, slow and steady, like don't rush it, don't be impulsive, get your ducks in a row kind of idea. That devotion over discipline, devotion coming from the heart, discipline being a more externally locused type of energy, right? So there's a bit of tension between this new paradigm and like how you can pull it off, essentially. We also have another square between Mars and Uranus that is exact on Sunday. The weekend might be a little crispy for this reason, especially coming off the energies of the full moon and anything that might come to the surface with this lunar event in particular being as catalytic as it is. So this weekend with this square between Jupiter and Saturn, and then Mars squaring Uranus, which will feel really from like Thursday, Friday till like early next week, but it's exact on Sunday. Mars squaring Uranus might be restless. Okay. Mars in Leo, this self-expression, pleasure, playfulness, putting yourself out there, like creation energy, squaring Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus and Taurus is restlessness when it comes to your physical environment. So like you might feel ready on an etheric level, or like you might be wanting to jump into taking action, but like the circumstances aren't there yet kind of idea. So there might be a little bit of crispy energy when it comes to that aspect in particular. We also have here on the chart the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune starting to show up. They're within 1 degree of each other. And as I mentioned in the run through, this is going to be going on until next year. So quite prolonged period of this energy of discipline and devotion when it comes to your spirituality, taking your spirituality seriously, putting a plan in action, like slow and steady, like the masculine and the feminine coming together essentially, instead of just all the masculine, which is what our society has taught us is the only way to succeed, right? So, like, really valuing that feminine, expansive, magical aspect of life and being able to create a plan and a structure so that you can facilitate a more magical existence. Now, this going on while we have, or like beginning to go on, while we have this Jupiter squaring Saturn, which I forgot to mention is a cycle that started in 2020. Okay, so looking back at 2020, and for me, that was like the beginning of like seriousness when it came to my spirituality because the lockdowns, how I was working 3 jobs at the time as a single mother, and it gave me space to pursue my spirituality because I'd already kicked my addictions to the curb at that point, thankfully. Otherwise, I'd probably be dead, honestly. But looking back at 2020 to where I'm at now, like 5 years later, I've definitely have evolved in this theme of expansion and contraction and the valuing of the feminine and making space within myself. More specifically, as well, August of last year is significant when it comes to this Jupiter squaring Saturn cycle, right? So, looking back at things that you initiated or things that were going on for you last August and culminating that, bringing yourself up to pace as far as your progress when it comes to this theme of the expansion of a new paradigm and the discipline and devotion that it takes to put something into action in the physical world. So yeah, overall a pretty magical week, honestly, folks. This the full moon is the primary focus, but these slower moving planets and these squares and tension between the expansion and contraction is really pushing us to evolve as celestial beings. Remember, again, your triggers are your treasures. Anything that is coming up, anything that is giving you resistance right now is an indication that that is not the way. Remember that everything that is happening outside of you is you, and it's happening intentionally for you to have the experience of it. So there's nothing to be upset by, there's nothing to be afraid of by going within and really developing that internal safety. This is how we move through these more intense energies with relative ease. If this is something that you would like assistance with, I have a number of options. So, as I've mentioned a few times, I have an ebook and a course if you're looking to learn the art of reading the stars and charts as I do. I do also have a Discord community that's absolutely free to join. There are some paid spaces where you will get more of my intensive one-on-one support. I have the Inner Circle, which is $222 a month, which is basically a group coaching program. And right now there's nobody in it. So if you join that, it's basically you and me. I do also have one-on-one containers. I have opened myself up to 2 one-on-one clients at this point. I feel very charged up and ready to pour into an intensive relationship with somebody who's looking to evolve as a celestial being. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, you're ready for this paradigm shift, you're looking for support as far as how to integrate these energies in a very embodied way, check out the link either in my bio if you're watching this on TikTok or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're still listening to this, thank you so much for supporting my work with your ears and eyes and heart. And I will see you in the next one.